Hello everyone, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing great. You're welcome to my channel once more.
For the love, for the life.
Today we're looking at the fact that age cannot stop anybody from succeeding. Age cannot be an obstacle to whatever you want to achieve in life. Age is just in the mind. As long as you think you can do anything, as long as you believe you can do anything and you work hard to do it, you will achieve it. You see, we were made by a God who is ageless. We live in a universe that is ageless. Most of the things we are dealing with, the air, the land, the seas, they were here before we came. And it is these same elements, it is this same universe, it is a combination of all the energy and all the processes and all the systems that God has put in place that work together for good for our sake. It is a combination of all these things that work together to bring everything we are doing to fruition. So, if the elements we are dealing with, if the universe that we are dealing with and the God we believe in is ageless, age can never and will never be a barrier to anything you want to achieve. When God called Abraham, he called him at the age of 75. There were many young men around that time, but he chose a 75-year-old man, a man who is considered to be a failure by our standards today, because at the age of 75 he was still living with his father. At the age of 75 he didn't have any child, he didn't have let alone have a grandchild. So at the age of 75 he ought to have been in his own house or houses and playing with his grandchildren and all, but he wasn't. He hadn't achieved any of these things. And this was the man that God chose. This should tell you that God doesn't look at age as you know, it doesn't affect what he's doing, it doesn't affect his purpose, it doesn't affect what he wants to achieve. Once God wants to achieve anything, he uses a man. And once the man believes he can achieve it, then he will achieve it. There is nothing you wish to achieve that you cannot do. There are so many people who have already given up on marriage because they feel that they are at a certain age. Oh, I'm too old to get married. No man will marry me now. Or I'm too old. No lady will look at me now. Or I'm too old to achieve this. I'm too old to go to school now. People will laugh at me. I am too old for this. I'm too old for that. This is one of the things that are stopping people from achieving what they are supposed to achieve. You have this passion in your heart, you have this yearning in your soul to do something, but because of the fact that you are at a certain age, or because the people around you are telling you, oh, you're too old for this, and then you give up. I've seen many people who have passed their prime achieving and doing so many great things. We're going to be looking at a couple of them that happened in recent times, or in our generation, or before in the last century, so that we will know, and so that we will be convinced that age cannot stop us from achieving whatever we want to achieve. Age can never stop anybody from being what they want to become. I read about a man named Ray Kroc, who was a milkshake device salesman. A salesman before buying McDonald's at the age of 54 in 1954. He went ahead to grow it into the world's biggest fast food chain franchise. You can imagine that. He was just a salesman. Somebody like that could have decided, oh, I might as well die a salesman. I'm just a common salesman. There's nothing else I can achieve. But he went ahead to establish one of the most popular food chains in the world today. And it is still running several years after his demise. I read that Henry Ford was already 45 years old when he created the revolutionary Model T car in 1908. I equally read that a woman named Anna Mary Robertson Moses, better known as Grandma Moses, began her prolific painting career at the age of 78. Can you imagine that? At the age of 78. And in 2006, one of her paintings was sold for $1.2 million. This was a woman who is supposed to be retired or seemed to be frail or something, but she decided to pursue the passion in her soul at the age of 78. You see, I'm sure I can tell to a large extent that passion had been in her, but for one reason or the other, probably because of raising a family or so many people around her telling her you cannot do it, she was not able to do it start on time. But she still didn't give up, and at the age of 78, she was able to start, and her painting fetched millions of dollars. Who doesn't know about Madiba Nelson Mandela, who was born on the 18th of July 1918 and died on the 5th of December 2013, who was elected president at the age of 76, the first democratically elected president in South Africa at the age of 76, having gone through everything he went through, in prison here and there, and he was in prison for 27 years before he was released. So many people would have given up. So many people in fact, a lot of people would have died in prison even. But this man kept a vision of a free South Africa in his mind, and he refused to give up. And he came out and became a president at the age of 76. A lot of people have already retired in the village at that age. A lot of people have given up on everything, but this man was able to fulfill destiny because he did not give up, because he didn't see age as a barrier to anything that a person wants to or needs to achieve. And what about Colonel Sanders, whose real name is Harlan Sanders? He was 62 years old when he began to franchise Kentucky Fried Chicken in 1952. This was a man who failed at so many things. He failed at marriage, he failed in business, he failed in every ramification. But when he retired, I heard that he was contemplating committing suicide or something. Then all of a sudden this idea came into his mind that he has always loved cooking. So he began to fry chicken and sell from door to door. And then he established a restaurant. And from there, he began to franchise his brand. At the age of 62, when a lot of people would have given up, oh, I'm too old to try this thing, I'm too old. And then at the age of 73, when he could no longer manage, the business was too big. The business he built from the age of 62 was too big for him to handle. So he had to sell it for millions of dollars. And he was still, going about advertising for the company. They continued to pay him until his demise. When I look at these people, I marvel. A lot of people so many people have already given up in their 50s and 60s, but these are men and women in their 60s and 70s going ahead to do great things. A man named Taikichiro Mori, who was an academic, became a real estate investor at the age of 51 when he founded the Mori Building Company. His brilliant investment made him the richest man in the world in 1992, where he had a net worth of $13 billion. This was a man who started at the age of 51. Time and space will fail me to mention all the names of people who achieved great things from their middle ages and beyond. Once you have this passion in your heart, in your soul, to do something, you must do it. Otherwise, you will never be fulfilled in life. That fire in your heart, burning, that passion was put there by God so that you can go ahead and achieve that thing. Don't listen to those who tell you that you're too old. Don't listen to those who tell you that you're too old to get married. Don't listen to anybody who tells you that you're too old to have a child. Not even the doctors, because God is far greater and above every other doctor. Don't listen to anybody who mocks you and makes fun of your age. It is only you that can stop you. If you believe that you can do it, you will achieve it. So, why don't you get up right now and do that thing you have been yearning to do? That fire, that passion in your heart that has been burning to do that thing, to start that business, that yearning to get married, that yearning to make an investment. Why don't you get up right now and do it? Delete all the doubts. Avoid those who keep telling you that you cannot do it. Because if you set your mind to anything, to achieve anything, you can achieve it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It is your mind that will help you to reach where you are going, not the number of your years. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I pray and I hope that this word will make sense to somebody and that it will push you to achieve and do that thing that you were created to do and become. Don't let that number stop you. God bless you.